Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. The cold is here. We'll tell you how the community is offering a warm hand to those in need. And President Biden remarks on what happened 4 years ago as Congress prepares to meet what he said just ahead. Plus, we learn more about the suspect in the New Orleans attack as the FBI releases more information.
And I think it's safe to say it is a bit cold out there this morning, and we're going to be a bit chilly for the rest of this week, seeing highs in the 50s and even 40s, lows in the 30s. And we also got some rain chances returning for the latter half of the week. We'll talk about all that and the weather coming up.
Yesterday, we had the 361 All-Star game there at Hallettsville High School. I'll highlight this event coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Three Kings Day and the Epiphany, and it's also the first day of school for this year.
That's right, a lot of big days today. It's the first day of the week, it's the last day of Christmas, the Epiphany holiday, and it's the first day of some cold weather for the week. Actually, the first full week of January, to be exact.
And I was savoring all that warmth this weekend.
Oh yes, I was outside basking in the sunshine with my dog, and we were loving it. However, we will not be loving it anymore because it is quite chilly out there this morning. If you're tuning in with us right now, you're looking live in Victoria. You can see a pretty sunrise out there, but the clear skies and the breeze and north wind is bringing us some chilly conditions this morning, sitting at 34 right now to be exact in Victoria. But your wind chill, what is that looking like? 25 degrees right now. Mighty cold out there this morning with your winds sustained at about 15. Gusts reported at 25 to 30 miles an hour. So needless to say, I think it's safe to say pretty cold out there this morning. Dew point is in the teens right now, bringing the humidity to a much more drier, comfortable 54%. So definitely no need to worry about fog, but temperatures across the state, if you thought we were cold, take a look up north. They're at 15 in Amarillo, 18, and see these purple colors right here? That's single digits and negatives up there in Kansas. But down here in the Crossroads, we're all hovering in the low and mid 30s. Got freezing, below freezing actually, in Blessing, Bay City, El Campo, Hallettsville, Yoakum was just a second ago, and Gonzales right now. But with the winds right now, and we actually, with eastern counties being below freezing, we have freeze warnings. Surprised they're not in northern counties. That's going to go until 9 a.m. when the sun comes up. But what I was just saying is that the winds right now sustained, a bit breezy out there as well, gusting to 25 to 30. We have wind chills in the 20s this morning, folks. So please make sure that you bundle up this morning. This is some dangerous stuff that we're dealing out there this morning, something that we're definitely not used to being here on the coast. So if you're sending your kiddos out the door, with all that being said, put some jackets on them. Make sure that they're wearing layers like me, because it's going to be chilly all day. We'll look at all that coming up next.
As the region faces a deep cold snap, those without shelter are at an increased risk of exposure to dangerous temperatures. Local shelters are preparing to offer warmth and safety. Volunteers are gathering essentials such as blankets, coats, and shelters are extending their services to ensure those in need have a safe place to stay during this extreme weather.
You know, we can't do this work alone. No one agency can do it. So, of course, we need the community to help us. What we've learned from our years of experience, though, is what we really need is monetary donations so that we can go out and buy the things that we need, whether it's a blanket or whether it's a special size coat or a pair of shoes or those things. So what we're really asking the community for is their monetary support.
If you would like to donate or have any questions about shelter availability, you can contact Midcoast Family Services at 361-575-7842. Midcoast isn't the only place in Victoria opening their doors during the cold. From now until January 11th, several locations will be open daily as warming centers for the public. Our Lady of Sorrows Trinity Hall, the Salvation Army, First United Methodist Church, and Christ the Victor Lutheran Church are open from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. Transportation will also be available at Christ Kitchen. These centers welcome everyone, though the Salvation Army is designated for adult men only. The Salvation Army's Captain Kenny Jones says these services are crucial for those who are unable to keep themselves warm during harsh winter weather.
There are places for you to be. If you can't get there, we'll get you there. So come in out of the cold. There's no reason to be cold. If we're not here when people need us, then we're not doing what God has called us to do. And that's not what we want to be doing. We want to be here for whatever the needs are.
The Salvation Army's Life Enrichment Center is open for families and all individuals from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tens of millions of Americans under winter weather alerts today. Winter Storm Blair now present across the nation. The NOAA's Weather Prediction Center says some areas could end up with their heaviest snowfalls in more than a decade, while other areas could see major ice totals. Forecasters say the storm is moving out of the Ohio River Valley today and it's on its way to the East Coast. Forecasters also say millions of Americans along the storm's path could face power outages due to heavy icing, while many states farther south, like our state, will face the bitter cold. Today, Congress will meet to certify the 2024 election results. It'll be the first time the certification will take place since rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol in 2021 to try to prevent the electoral process from taking place. On Sunday, President Biden reflected on the events of January 6th. He said what happened 4 years ago should never happen again, and he still believes what President-elect Donald Trump did was, quote, a genuine threat to democracy. But he says he is hopeful the country is beyond that. The president has promised a smooth transition to the next Trump administration. We'll go to Washington for more later. Now to New Orleans and new details about the New Year's terror attack that left 14 people dead and the attackers' 2 recent visits to the city.
Morning, as President Biden prepares to visit New Orleans, the FBI is unveiling a detailed timeline of the New Year's Eve attack there.
We have a clearer picture today than we did even 2 days ago.
They say the suspect, 42-year-old Army veteran Shamsu Dinjabar, drove to Louisiana from Texas, arriving in the city around 10 p.m. New Year's Eve. At 12:15 a.m., investigators say he set a fire inside a house he had rented in the city. At 1:53, he can be seen placing a cooler which authorities say contained an IED on Bourbon Street and St. Peter. About a half hour later, at 2:20, he placed a second cooler on Bourbon and Toulouse. At 3:15, he raced his rented Ford F-150 down Bourbon Street, killing 14 people and injuring dozens more.
Lone actors, or small cells of individuals who typically radicalize to violence online and who primarily use easily accessible weapons, have posed the greatest terrorism threat to our homeland.
Authorities say the casualties could have been much higher because the fire inside the rental home burned out before it could spread to the accelerants Jabbar had placed inside. And they say the detonator Jabbar tried to use to set off those IEDs inside the coolers failed before he was killed in a shootout with law enforcement. Investigators say Jabbar traveled to New Orleans twice in the months before the attack, recording this video as he rode around the French Quarter on a bike. Sources say Jabbar recorded several videos in which he claimed he had joined ISIS earlier this year. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas warns
ISIS continues to seek to radicalize individuals outside of the Middle East.
in his videos, Jabbar also threatened his family and said he wanted to focus the U.S. on the war between the believers and disbelievers. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Victoria County Commissioners meet at 10 a.m. today. Here are some items from their agenda. They'll hear a proclamation for 2025 Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. They'll also consider the reappointment of Dr. John McNeil as the Public Health Authority, and they'll consider the appointment of a county judge pro tem. The court meets on the second floor of the courthouse at 115 North Bridge Street in room 241. Remember, follow us on YouTube Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time now, looking at our clock up here, it is 6:37 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. We get an update from one of the persons hurt by a plane that crashed into several vehicles in Victoria.
Today, Congress will gather to certify the results of the 2024 election. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington, where security is high ahead of several major events happening this month.
And also coming up next after the break in the full forecast today, going to be a bit of a chilly one all across beautiful Texas. I'll tell you how nice and cool I think it's going to be near you. But coming later on Sunrise, we're going to talk about the rain that's coming back. We'll talk about when that's coming. Well, good morning, Crossroads. You're looking live and clear in chilly Cuero. So clear you can see a couple stars. One right there, another right there. But if you're going to go see the stars this morning, or if you're headed out the door for some early morning errands, or if you're taking your kiddos out to school, 32 degrees, right in the money for freezing in Cuero. That's enough for me to say, please put some jackets on and some long sleeves. It's pretty cold out there. We got wind chills down to 20s, 23 in Cuero right now is what it feels like, with the winds sustained at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts reported at 25 to 30 at times this morning. So I think that's enough for me to say, please put a jacket on. But looking at your satellite this morning, all across Texas, clear as a glass. Why is that? Because winds are out of the north above our heads aloft at about 2 to 3 miles high, bringing all that drier air out of the mountains. Where is that coming from? Well, Winter Storm Blair is moving through the Ohio River Valley right here. You can see it spinning counterclockwise. That's heading eastward towards the eastern coast, bringing us some more sunny and clear skies all the way for tonight and all the way through tomorrow as well. And in fact, you can see that better here. I'm pressing play in your future clouds of radar. You can see not a cloud in the sky for today. Going to be real sunny today, bringing us a bit of a cool day today, actually, with the breezy north winds blowing through. We're looking for highs today in the upper 40s and low 50s. Thinking about 50 flat here in Victoria with wind chills in the low 40s, maybe even upper 30s for some. So please keep those jackets on you for today. And under the clear skies tonight, we're going to be dropping down to even colder temperatures than this morning. We're looking for upper 20s and low 30s. That's why we have alert days issued for tomorrow morning and also on Wednesday morning as well before we're warming up a little bit. And we've got rain coming back. All that coming up next.
And yesterday we had the 361 All-Star game for the first time there at Hallettsville High School, where again top volleyball athletes competed there in the first ever 361 their All-Star game. We had star athletes that you probably remember there from this past volleyball season. In Victoria East, star Addison Azuna, Cuero, Sarah Rodriguez, Calhoun's Neva Rangel, and also tight end and star Mary Johnson. Now, yesterday, before the game there began I went to Hallettsville to talk with Desiree Evans there from Industrial to see how she felt playing in this event and being selected there as an All-Star.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm playing with 2 other girls from Industrial, Kate and Pacey, and then obviously people from different schools. But it's been really exciting bonding with the girls and just going out and doing something a little bit different than the typical club team or something like that.
And congrats again there to Desiree and those other volleyball players playing in this event for the first time. And the end of the day, the MVP of this game came to Mary Johnson there from Tidehaven. And then also again, Team Legacy there won the event there as well there. So props up there for all, again, the volleyball athletes that got to be able to compete in this event. And again, props up to Mary Johnson for winning MVP there for the All-Star game. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
Thank you, Max. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus. Today, Congress will gather to certify the results of the 2024 election, the last step before President-elect Trump's inauguration later this month in Washington, where security remains high.
Today, Congress is set to certify Donald Trump's victory in the presidential election. Vice President Kamala Harris, in her capacity as Senate president, will certify her own loss as one of her last official acts. It comes on the anniversary of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. 4 years ago, then President Trump urged supporters to head to the Capitol to protest Congress's certification of Joe Biden's victory. Trump has promised to pardon some of the January 6th defendants during his first hours in office. Overnight, the U.S. Attorney's Office revealed it's evaluating whether to bring charges in roughly 200 new cases. Nearly 1,600 people have faced charges so far. Meanwhile, President Biden, reflecting on the end of his political career, urged newly elected Democratic members of Congress to invest in relationships and work across the aisle.
You don't have to give up your principles or your beliefs to build relationships, to compromise and reach a consensus.
But also reminding them to stand up for democracy.
It's your duty to tell the truth, to remember what happened, and not let January 6th be rewritten or even erased.
Security is much tighter around the Capitol than 4 years ago, with extensive fencing and new training in place. Law enforcement in Washington also preparing for the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. In addition to the National Guard, roughly 4,000 additional police officers from around the country traveled to the nation's capital to support D.C. police. Carter's body will remain in Atlanta through today before making the trip to D.C. for Thursday's funeral. President Biden will deliver the eulogy. A massive snowstorm hitting Washington today is not expected to impact the certification. Even with federal offices closed today, House Speaker Mike Johnson says the certification will go forward. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, do you think there will be any issues with the election certification process? Okay, let's take a look. 85% of you say no. 15% of you say yes. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. One woman injured in a December plane crash was released in time for Christmas. 68-year-old Joe Waitcheeses was critically injured in early December and had been in a San Antonio hospital since her vehicle was crushed by a small plane at the intersection of Zacklands Parkway and Mockingbird Lane. She was released to go home on Christmas Day. The FAA reports the pilot ran out of fuel, causing him to make an emergency landing on the roadway. The time is now 6:45 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. Learn how a new partnership between a satellite company and an airline will change the flying experience. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Andrew. Happy 9th birthday, Andrew. We love you. Have a great day. Love Mommy, Dada, and your family.
Happy birthday, Andrew. And also happy birthday to Amelia. Happy birthday to our beautiful and strong mother. We love you so much from all your 10 kiddos.
Happy birthday to Arthur. Happy birthday to our dad. Thank you for everything you've done for our family. Love you from all your 10 kids and your wife.
That's right. Happy birthday, Arthur, and happy birthday to Martha. Happy birthday to many more years still to come. Love from your kids and your grandkids.
Happy birthday to Marvin. Happy birthday, my love, grandbabies, and I love you to the moon and back. Wish you many more wonderful birthdays.
That's right. Happy birthday, Marvin. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, just go to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, the time is now 6:46 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you did this weekend.
That's right, or over the weekend. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I think it's obvious that it's real cold out there this morning, but I do want to let y'all know we will actually be even colder tomorrow morning thanks to the clear skies, allowing all that land-heated air to freely escape to the upper atmosphere. And that's why we have alert days. It's going to go all the way through Wednesday morning, because Wednesday morning going to be another cold one. However, our northern counties, we're talking Lavaca and Gonzales County on Wednesday morning. Lavaca, Gonzales County, northern counties are going to experience the sub-freezing conditions. However, tomorrow morning, we have an alert day for pretty much all counties, everyone except for the coastal counties. That's going to include Karnes, DeWitt, Gonzales, Lavaca, and all Highway 59 counties, including Bee, Goliad, Victoria, Jackson, and Wharton County. What y'all going to expect in those counties for tomorrow morning is going to be those sub-freezing conditions. Temperatures extending from 27 degrees to 32 degrees freezing, and that's going to last for 3 to 7 hours. That's why we have alert days for tomorrow morning and also a little bit for Wednesday morning for those northern counties. So just make sure to know, with that in mind, just to let y'all know, I want y'all to make sure that you cover your pipes, especially for tomorrow morning. But northern counties, like I said, Wednesday morning, keep that in mind as well. But for the rest of this week, the low is going to stay cold in the 30s. However, going to warm up a little bit, no longer in freezing. I'm thinking about the latter half of the week. Some of us might be in the northern counties still, but high temperatures also still looking chilly for the rest of this week. We're going to be in the 50s and even 40s for Wednesday and Thursday. Why that is because we still have a very cold air mass that's still on top of our heads. We're talking all this air up here, 2-3 miles high, is negative 20 to negative 30 degrees. Very cold. We also have high pressure, sinking high pressure, which is what happens in high pressure, which is over our heads as well. But as we go into later this week, you may have saw there was a low pressure system that's going to move over the Baja Peninsula, and that's going to move over the mountains of Mexico over the next few days. And what that's going to do is it's going to come off the mountains on Wednesday, and it's going to turn into a weak tropical low, and that's going to moisten our upper atmosphere, bringing all sorts of rain for Thursday down in South Texas, but all sorts of snow in North Texas for Thursday. We'll look at all that and more later on Sunrise.
Elon Musk is expanding his footprint. The billionaire entrepreneur will provide its Starlink Wi-Fi service to United Airlines. United will begin testing Starlink next month, and its first commercial flight with the service will launch this spring. Starlink will eventually be available on every United flight. Once Starlink is up and running, United's Mileage Plus members will have free access to Starlink, and that'll give them access to streaming services, shopping, gaming, and other products. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Learn how the nation plans to mourn the 39th president. France's former president Nicolas Sarkozy goes on trial this morning over alleged illegal financing of his 2007 presidential campaign by the government of then Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. The Libyan case, the biggest and possibly most shocking of several scandals involving Sarkozy, is scheduled to run until April 10th, with a verdict expected at a later date. Sarkozy, who served as president from 2007 to 2012, has denied any wrongdoing. Gunmen opened fire on a bus carrying Israelis in the occupied West Bank this morning, killing at least 3 people and wounding 7 others. The attack occurred in a Palestinian village, one of the main east-west roads crossing the territory. Also new this morning, President Joe Biden announced an executive action that will permanently ban future offshore oil and gas development in parts of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Biden's executive action will ban new oil and gas leasing across 625 million acres of U.S. ocean. On Saturday, late President Jimmy Carter's casket was moved from rural Georgia to the Carter Presidential Center. A steady stream of mourners have been coming to say their final farewells to the 39th president. President Carter's casket will be flown to Washington on Tuesday to lie in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol building before the national funeral service on Thursday. Heavy snow has begun falling in the Washington, D.C. area, and people are out enjoying it on the National Mall with a snowball fight. It's a tradition. D.C. actually has a snowball fight association that plans ahead, waiting for the first heavy snowfall and perfect snowy conditions like this. The association formed in 2010 when more than 2,000 people showed up for a snowball fight. Japanese company Nippon Steel has now launched a lawsuit against the U.S. This is the latest update. The lawsuit filed in a federal court accuses President Biden of corrupting the review process for political gain and harming steel workers and the industry in America. That's after the president blocked its attempt to acquire U.S. Steel Friday. Nippon Steel CEO says the company is entitled to a, quote, proper review. Victoria County is hosting a presentation on how to prepare for a winter storm. On Thursday, January 16th at 5 p.m., Public Health Emergency Coordinator Ralph Montez will lead a class so residents can learn how winter storms impact public health and how to stay safe. Just show up at the Dr. Penny Dotson Public Health Center at 2805 North Navarro. The city manager position in Yoakum is a central topic of a special city council meeting on Wednesday. You can read this story on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience a new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. All right, and let's get a final look at our forecast with First Warn Storm team meteorologist Parker Cox. Look at that beautiful sunrise.
That's right, look at that pretty sunrise we got over the coast this morning. Beautiful, all kinds of colors out there. We got some blue, pink, purple, yellow, orange, all kinds of pretty colors out there. If you're to go see that sunrise this morning, if you haven't stepped out the door this morning, I hope you know it's a bit cold out there. Please put on a jacket. It is 36 degrees down on the coast right now. That's a little bit cold. You know, we've obviously been colder than that, but wind chill, that's in the 20s right now. 25 down on the coast. We're actually in the low 20s for wind chills in the inland counties. Actually, I think some of the northern counties are seeing upper teens for wind chills right now. So please put on a jacket this morning. Also nice and dry out there with the dew point in the 20s as well on the coast. But today it's going to be a bit of a cool day with sunshine only warming our highs up just a few degrees, about 10-15 degrees worth, getting down to the low 50s and upper 40s down in South Texas. Up North Texas is going to be in the 30s and 40s for highs today. But looking a little closer to home, I'm thinking about 50 flat to be exact in Port Lavaca, under lots and lots of sunshine. A little bit breezy out there as well on the coast. You actually have a gale warning on the coast this morning, so please, actually until noontime, so be careful with that. But a bit breezy in the inland counties up until around noontime. I'm thinking a little bit less breezy. I'm thinking in the afternoon time in Victoria, getting up to 50 for the afternoon high. Look at that beautiful sunrise in the back of Victoria as well. And in Cuero, I'm thinking about 1 degree less than Victoria at about 49 today, under lots and lots of sun and breezy winds in the morning time. With a breezy wind, I want to let y'all know the wind chills will be in the low 40s. Some might even see upper 30s, so definitely bundle up. And I'd say bundle up for the rest of this week because we're going to be chilly, seeing highs in the 50s and even 40s with rain chances coming back on Thursday.
right, thank you, Parker. Thank y'all for joining us. Be sure to get ready to switch out your Christmas decor for Mardi Gras. Parker, look, I got a photo of the King's Cake so you can see it.
Oh, wow. Gosh, I wish they could see that. That looks really yummy.
It's so delicious. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It'll show up at the grocery store soon.
There you go.
Have a nice, warm Monday and stay prepared for weather.
That's right.